Fellas, we are back, and I brought a gift. It's called Montezuma's Revenge.
Delicious.
What is Montezuma's Revenge, you ask, Rhett? Well, the simple Wikipedia Googling will tell you that it's diarrhea experienced by tourists after drinking water or eating food in Mexico as a result of microorganisms which native Mexicans are immune to. We back.
See, if you were just native Mexican, you'd be fine.
And I'm not. One of the things that was fine, I found, was the beaches and the beer and the warm weather and the swinging palm trees.
Dean,
got some visuals of that as well. So
yeah.
Dean, do you mind standing up and smelling his hair?
No. No chance.
Salty.
No chance. We talked about that too. What was that thing like in the humidity and heat?
It was tucked under a huge one of those straw hats that was destroyed by the end of the week. I think. Yeah.
Hot though, right? Like itchy hot. You got some
warm
bugs and shit.
Right, check this out. Check this out. Check this out. So
bug.
this is at Shell Ha. Look at
what?
Oh yeah.
The boys are jacked.
Is that
that is 4 water slides. 2x2. 2 blues and 2 whites. And that's yeah. You see Kaczynski there at the bottom. Unreal.
Gotta stop calling him that.
He's getting older. He's starting to figure it out.
He's getting too old for that.
Yeah. Anyway, bunch of fun. It was great. And thank you for putting up with me being away for a week.
So great.
Dino recommended this place. It was absolutely.
I've been there. I've done that. The old cliff jump.
Very good.
Kid lost one of his shoes.
Oh,
it was great. I spent the rest of the day with friggin' one shoe on. That wasn't a big deal.
Nope.
God
almighty.
Awesome.
That doesn't pass for a cliff in my world. I'm sorry. That's
as
a child, sure. No. As a child, yes. I'm talking for the big boy over there. I want to see that triple size when you hop off the next cliff.
5 meters? Is that the minimum?
Do the reverse.
It's a 10-meter board at the pool. It's a 10-meter board at the pool.
10 meter. Ooh, 10 meter is woo. Your stomach starts doing what mine's been doing for 8 hours here if you're on the 10 meter.
I'm glad this started when you got home and not halfway through the flight.
That makes 2 of us. Well, probably a whole plane full, to be honest.
I was on a flight one time, and we were at the point there was some guy dying in the bathroom that they literally said through the door,
Dang.
You either have to come out now
or
you have to come out now and we're leaving without you.
Oh dear.
You have to take your seat and deal with this, or you have to leave.
So you're on the
because
tarmac still.
We need to take off. And he was in a bad way. I'm not laughing. It's not funny.
I'm laughing.
But yeah, dude has a serious issue on his hands for sure.
All right, let's go to the Wranglers, boys. Last night, a chance to wrap up that Pacific semifinal. Down 3-1, finishes 3-2. Abbotsford wins. It's a 2-1 series. Now, remember, Abbotsford's got the last 3 games in this series because it's
they earned it.
Conspiracy against Rhett. And you want more? FlamesNation.ca's got the article. Here's a look at the schedule as well as the Wranglers and Canucks will square off Friday. That's tomorrow. It's Hawaiian T-shirt day. And if necessary, Sunday, which would give Abby 3 home games.
3?
What the fuck?
And there was a little bit of bad blood at the end of the game last night. There's some ill will.
Ill will?
Yeah.
Don't like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Sorry, jumping around on Alex a bit there. Let's go to some Flames news now, as Elliot Friedman's 32 Thoughts had some very flamesy notes yesterday, talking about new coach, potentially a captain. Let's have a read. Players want to make sure that the coach can handle the players that had issues with Sutter this year. Players want a captain, and Burnett, Huska, and Love considered candidates for the Flames. Quick reaction to that, Rhett.
Well, I like the last one, I guess. I'm cool with all those ideas for coach. I think they're all are well warranted. Players want a captain. Play like a effing captain then. It's real simple.
See one this year. Yeah.
Be a captain. There's no one in that room that should be handed a C just because. Let's BS. Now, the
Agreed.
players know
Chris
best.
Tanev, probably the one. Yeah,
Yeah, guy on the last year of his contract,
I hear you.
right? Like, and again,
yeah.
maybe it is Chris Tanev, but it doesn't. A captaincy is earned, and the players know the best in the room. Maybe they felt or know who runs the room and who sets the tone for the team, but we sure as hell didn't see it on the ice. So for me, something's amiss there, right? Because absolutely, it's a player's thing, and the room just should be part of the decision. But as a captain, you're supposed to lead the team on the ice, not be a nice guy in the room, right? And we didn't see anyone who showed any of those characteristics this last year. So I have an issue that it's for the players to go, we want a captain. Okay, well, so we just pick one because you need one. To me, it speaks of a weak dressing room. It speaks.
Well, and I was going to say, Rhett, how big a part of the whole situation is that? Right? You talk about guys got to want to play in Calgary, and you got to want to be here, and you got to be able to elevate all this sort of thing. But when you have a locker room full of guys, and you really have to squint to say, well, this guy, I guess, could be a captain. How change the coach, change the GM? It's a huge part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, we said it. You could have had 6 candidates at the beginning of the year. Nobody grabbed it unless you're going to go lead by example guy, but like Tanev, but it's the last year of his deal. And he's, started missing some time as he's done most of his career, and he's not a vocal guy. And that doesn't mean he can't be a leader, but if that's your best candidate, we're squinting. There's a lot of A's there. I don't see a C.
No.
I would put Rasmus Andersson as my leading candidate moving forward.
He's here for a while.
Young, plays hard. You had a thought on the first point there, though, Rhett.
Well, that's the most interesting one. I think 2 and 3 go hand in hand, and you're dealing. I think 1 and 2 go hand in hand, and you're dealing with 3 because of those 2 things. What the hell does number 1 mean?
Well, and I think we would understand that Daryl's on one end of the spectrum. He sort of would be filed alongside Keenan and Hartley on the easy to hard. So I don't think you're going to pull in the next Daryl as your next head coach necessarily.
That's not the way I'm reading that.
That's not how I read it either. I get we don't want Daryl. I'm reading it as half the room or a certain amount of players are saying, fine, get a new coach. But these crybabies had better fucking respond to the new guy because they didn't have issues with the old guy.
Yeah.
And we found Rhett's ghostwriting name as well. It's Rick Bell.
Rick Bell, yeah, well done. Yeah, it's not without concern.
For sure.
The GM and the coach can change, and there will be some enthusiasm around that, and there will be some hype in that for next season. And we talked to Craig Button yesterday, and that's maybe a playoff team, but it's a problem.
If it's a playoff team, it's not a problem. But
not if you. But I guess what's the goal? To sneak in? What's the goal? To sneak into the playoffs or to have a cohesive team?
What did we just watch in the first round? Like Seattle and fucking Florida won wild cards. Like again, people hate hearing it. It's a crapshoot tournament. It is.
I would suggest those teams have their shit together.
Agreed.
Yes, but just a sec. And we talked about this yesterday, Pinder. Dean said that exact same thing to me. Where does Florida moving on?
Seattle
does just getting in the playoffs after seeing what's happened this year, does just getting in the playoffs change your opinion on, what we've discussed with the Flames? And my response to Dean was, and I believe this is just sneaking into the playoffs. And I use Buffalo as an example. If Buffalo just snuck into the playoffs this year, absolute home run. But it's a home run because they snuck in and they're young. They're sneaking in as a young team. I don't think sneaking in with this lineup that the Flames have speaks to strength. I think it speaks to weakness. You have a couple-year window or gap that you're supposed to be winning in. You shouldn't be sneaking into the effing playoffs.
So how do you feel about Florida, who finished the regular season with 1 point less than the Flames?
They were a President's Trophy team last year.
Right, and the Flames won the division last year. So
I think they're I can be completely wrong. I think they've had a game plan in Florida for a long time, and they've got a lot more youth than we do. They play a completely different game. They're a pain in the ass to play against. They skate like the wind. I think it's a completely different squad.
Yeah, and again, you're going to want to skate better next year and get younger and do all the things that, but Florida, that was a miserable regular season that was saved by the last 2 weeks.
And there again, you have Barkov, who's a superstar. You have Ekblad, who's a first overall pick. You have Tkachuk, who's 100+. And you could argue he could be a Hart Trophy candidate kind of a guy with the season that he's had. You don't have any of that here.
No, but they've got issues too. They're spending $14 million on 2 goalies that didn't start the playoffs for them.
But just team to team, just on the ice, the product that's on the ice right now. Do
you think the Calgary Flames could beat out Florida? I don't.
No, Boston, but I didn't think Florida could beat Boston. I didn't think Seattle could beat Colorado. There's lots of crazy shit happens. If you told me the Flames got good goaltending for 2 weeks and we're a tough out, I think that's a reasonable outcome too.
To a point, I agree, and I agree because it is it is one of those things. But it just, I'm not. If I'm a Flames fan, sorry, Rhett, and I'll get out of the way. If I'm a Flames fan, I'm not satisfied that the coach and GM are out and they're going to make a change.
No, you need to see the change from the players now. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, when the players are going into meetings and saying the next guy better be able to deal with these guys, with some of these players, it says to me there's not a rift, but there's issues. There's a division in the room. There's some guys that look at other guys like, and recognize it.
Yeah,
that the coach is going to have an issue with some guys in this room. He better be able to handle it.
Well, and what? If you read the quote, it's vice versa. It's the players better be able to handle the new coach. It's. Okay, Sutter's gone. You better make it work with this guy. No more bullshit that we saw.
Forget what I was going to say. But to what you were just saying, what we were just saying there is a huge deal. And if people take it as standing up or sticking up for Daryl, everyone. You read Rick Bell's column and then read the comments. There are a lot of idiots out there, and that's all fine and good. But the popular opinion is Daryl's just a complete moron and out. But those comments there confirm it's not just Daryl. So his head rolled. That's fine. He made mistakes. Great. It ain't just Daryl. So those problems in the room are there till somebody effing fixes them.
Yep.
Right? It's so
100%. I don't think people are saying Daryl's an idiot. I think people were saying Daryl wore on a lot of people, players, coaches, front office.
People do say Daryl's an idiot.
Daily staff,
the worst, and this and that. You go back and forth. You're funny because on one hand you're very strong, and it was Daryl's fault. On the other hand, well, no, we're not saying he's a bad guy, or well, you are. You've got it on good authority.
There's a lot of issues this year. That's
fine, Ryan.
Was a big one.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
So was the room,
right?
and so were the players.
Yeah, I agree.
I know, but anyway, and I forget what I was going to say about the Florida Panthers squeaking in.
Forgot.
I know. I mean, it's weird. We won't have time ever again to discuss this stuff.
We're so short on time. So many topics we need to get into.
Let's look at last night's action
on the internet.
I'm almost done here. Yeah, my voice is fucking cratered.
Yeah, no, this is good.
It's great.
Yeah.
Last night, finals. We talked about the Oilers. Mark Spector was not happy with his teenage children. They fall 6-4. A rout in Carolina, who quietly have taken care of business nicely this year without a couple of their best players. And Santa Monica, baby. Why travel when you could collect vitamin D? Why have more radiation, Dean, when you could have less? Well, because maybe it hurts to play with sunburn.
It's a short hop over to Vegas. You don't want to spend too much time in Vegas. All the smoke in the casinos and stuff. It's bad for your lungs.
Here's tonight's slate as well, as we've got another pair, including, two teams I think a lot of people like to win, looking to even up their series. Seattle's been absolute. What? Nobody saw this coming.
They have been a thorn in the side of their opponents.
A thorn indeed.
Prickly.
I picked him, Pinder.
All right.
I'm all in on the Kraken. Roll
You
Tide.
missed him in round 1. Roll Tide.
That's right.
Roll Tide.
Well, it's
Hook 'em
the
horns.
ocean. They're on the ocean. It's the tide is rolling in.
Well, but it was bad for the Oilers to be on the ocean. Remember? Spectre. Mole Tide.
No. They needed to
Matt
go
Tkachuk.
home to their oval dressing room and relax and hear the praises of the Northern Albertans to feed their egos.
You think those guys can get a coffee in Edmonton right now? Holy shit. You've seen you think it's the first time humans landed on the moon, the Oilers being in round 2 with the best player on earth for the second year in a row. Holy Christ.
Yeah, I think it was on last night where they showed the stat. Like, who are the top 4 or 5 point per game producers in the playoffs in the history of the game? And I feel like there were 3 effing Oilers on that list. I'm like, yeah.
So they've been here before, is what we were led to believe. This isn't the
That's
first
what I'm
time they've been in
trying to
round 2. Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to verify that fact. Matthew Tkachuk's had a monster playoffs. It's weird because he hadn't in Calgary. Remember? He was one of those guys that was like, why isn't this clicking? It feels like playoff hockey should be for Tkachuk. 1 point away from matching his career totals in Calgary, and that includes playing round against Winnipeg.
Yeah,
He was
shitty
concussed
playing round
against
that
Dallas
wasn't the
that year.
playoffs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Hainsey had those numbers. It's
Is it possible, like, Cali is very close to Mexico, right? Could they have got the Montezumas in
I feel
Maybe
like the
that's
food in
it.
Santa Monica and the
They have
water, much better.
a case of the trots, like our buddy Pinder.
It's a lot of cases I'm dealing with all of a sudden. Good thing you can get anything in a pharmacy
Look,
there.
there's that's that Desharnais. That's why he was that's why he was the shits last night.
Just last night.
Jesus. Fella. Is there no one in the press box that can play for this guy? He's got the squirts. Can't play D. Here, take the puck. I can't have the puck.
I don't want this
I got the
thing.
diarrhea.
Haven't seen a
Looks like
stain
me
on the
out
ice
there.
since Brian Elliott let that goal in against the Ducks. Okay, finally, no, there's no fit. No better fit than like Snoop Dogg in the city of Ottawa, right? When you think of one, you think of the other.
Yes.
Just magic. Snoop is gearing up and joining a bid to buy the Ottawa Senators, Rhett. If you think Ryan Reynolds is cool, wait till you get a load of Snoop Dogg. Huh? Gary must be loving this. This is an absolute bonanza for a shitty rink and a small market-ish team where they couldn't sell out games in a Stanley Cup final 5 years ago. This is wild. I love it. They're going to get $1 billion and then have to build a rink.
I'm very excited, said Dog.
Mr. Dog said he loved Ottawa. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. My kind of town, Ottawa.
Where just the only place he's been is bare facts like Rhett.
That's faux shizzle.
Other sports. Vladdy hit a mammoth bomb into the wind at Fenway last night. Let's have a watch. This is quite impressive, Rhett. Wind was blowing in at Fenway.
Well, you got it's the monster, but it's a short.
In the air to left field.
Feel like
It almost hits the lights.
Do a thing about this one.
I didn't see the ball come down. Were they
Oh,
on the
dude.
ball?
There's another angle that does it justice. I don't think it's in this clip, but it almost hits the light stanchion way above the monster.
So it goes over the like above the wall, over the fans, over the street, and I think almost over the parking lot that's across the street.
He might have hit home plate before it landed into the wind. Jays
Unbelievable.
have dropped 4 in a row.
Is he putting some? I don't
They
know.
Oh,
lost?
he's losing. They lost.
Oh, for
They got
Christ.
Gosman today wrapping a 4-game set.
No.
Kikuchi
These
lost.
guys.
I know. And it's May, so
Oh,
the
it's
season's
early
over.
in the year. It doesn't matter.
No, they just won 6 in a row. They gave 4 right back. And your boys, you're going to love this, Rhett. This has finally happened. Lamar Jackson inks his $260 million 5-year deal.
Is
that you?
Shit, some good-looking flow. 185.
Is that you signing autographs
Guaranteed.
down in Cancun?
Averaged 14 points per game last year. He was terrible. And they reward him
He was
with
hurt
this.
a lot last year.
Oh, please.
Oh, he was. I mean, he wasn't good when he was healthy, but he was hurt as well.
It's amazing. So who will be the next one? Like, when is
Herbert's up soon?
I was going to say Herbert,
Joe Burrow's up soon.
and then Burrow.
Yeah. They both had their fifth-year options exercises this offseason.
Learn to throw, kids.
Well,
Learn to throw.
There's 25 of these guys that get crazy now.
Oh, still, they started to learn at some point.
They did.
Do the backups to see how much the backups are making.
That's true. The backups do all right.
Be a third stringer, son. I don't care. Hold that clipboard. Don't drop that son of a bitch either. Because if you drop it and they see you drop it, then you're going to hang on to it.
I'll find another guy that can
hang on tight.
Okay, and finally the shoveler sent another video.
Oh, it's nice.
The pitcher, excuse me. No. There's division of labor around the house. Everyone's got something they're good at. But the shoveler was saying the dryer wasn't working well. And it's usually Rhett's job to, do some of the laundry.
One of those weird video clips where the girl gets caught in
just
the
a
dryer.
pitcher. So Rhett, the thing about a dryer is you got to
here.
clean the lint trap. It's
Oh
not going
my.
to work.
Fire hazard.
See, you're wearing that black shirt. You wear a lot of dark clothing.
Yeah. You're lucky that rental house hasn't gone up in flames.
Woo. That's crazy.
You know what? Yeah. You know what else is some good ones is when people have what do you call it? The in-house vac or whatever, the central vac.
Oh, central vac.
We haven't emptied it for 2 years. Yeah, you
Christ.
still need to empty it. Like
It doesn't disappear.
the shit's going somewhere,
Yeah.
right? And wow, it's an eye opener. Gross.
That is the Pinder report.
There it is.
So good.
Pinder report presentation of Village Honda. I think a tropical cruise. If you go on the tropical cruise that you get, don't drink the tap water.
Drink the bottled water.
Have bottled water. Be smart. Be normal. Don't be an idiot.
Don't be a Pinder.
Get your piece of the $1 million buy-in event. Get cash for your vehicle. Village Honda pays top dollar. They'll throw in that tropical cruise. What a deal. VillageHonda.com, your dealership for life.